Welcome everyone, my name is Lindsay Durand and I am the Marketing Coordinator for Global Women's Health Initiative. Today we are joined by Tracy Spitznagel, a board member of Global Women's Health Initiative, as well as Sara Reardon and Dr. Jay Martin, who will be discussing their upcoming Maternal Improvement Outcome Project. So I am very excited to have everyone here today. And Tracy, I'll go ahead and let you kind of take over from here.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. It's like excitement, like goosebumps to talk about this project and introduce you guys to these two new collaborators for GWHI. We are so excited for 2021 and what we're going to do in the future. And this is going to be our first really, boots on the ground local engagement, because we're going to be doing a project in the United States. So Sara and Jay, one, thank you for joining the team. And two, can you just give us a little bit of background on how you came up with this idea?
Sure. You want to go first?
Sure. So my name's Sara Reardon. I am a doctor of physical therapy and board certified women's health clinical specialist. And I actually was one of Tracy's former students at Washington University. And just over the past, several years or even decade of working in this field, we are seeing so many individuals during pregnancy and after birth whose outcomes have not been optimal, often because of just a lack of access to education and healthcare, especially within the world of pelvic floor physical therapy. So as we are seeing, pelvic floor physical therapy becoming a more known and standard practice for birthing persons in the United States, it's really exciting to be able to share what we can do to help improve outcomes. And Joanne and I over this past year have really had the ability to connect virtually and just work on a few other projects, and really just starting to share our passion for improving these improving outcomes. Like, hey, we're saying these things are happening, but what can we do to help with that? And so we've partnered together to join with the Global Women's Health Initiative to get some exciting new programming on the ground this next year.
Mm-hmm. So, hey guys, I'm Dr. J. Michelle Martin, and or Dr. J, and I am also a pelvic floor physical therapist, but I'm also a birth doula. And when we look at all that is happening, like Sara just mentioned, with maternal mortality rates, especially within marginalized communities, when we look at lack of access, and even the morbidities outside of birth, because if no one dies, then it's considered a success. But we're seeing a lot of things, in the months after, in the weeks after, months after, and even years, things that could have been prevented, things that are so easily treatable. However, people are not aware that there are options out there. People are not aware that there is help that could be had. And so we wanted to start diving into different ways that we could help the birthing community, ways we could collaborate with the birthing communities, in addition to working with women, individuals who are pregnant, who are postpartum, to start making improvements with regards to both maternal mortality rates and then the morbidity rates that we're seeing in growing numbers for birthing individuals.
This program is so exciting because it's kind of combining two needs. One is kind of that need to just get the word out about that, you can get care for your pelvic floor, and starting at it kind of at that grassroots level of who might be delivering a baby, and then having that conversation with that mom, but also really reaching out to communities that don't have access to care, the underserved components, the population that you're serving. So Sara, can you talk just a little bit about like where you're located and why you kind of learned that this would be kind of like an important piece for you?
Absolutely. So I live in New Orleans, Louisiana, which is my hometown. We have a largely Black community here in New Orleans, and we've got, there was a recent, it was 1 year ago, there was a New York Times article about a woman specifically at a hospital here in New Orleans that had some major postpartum issues and morbidity issues because of inadequate care during her birthing experience. And I've had the good fortune to be able to connect with some of the doula groups in the New Orleans community that have been really responsive to referring to pelvic floor physical therapy, to coming to pelvic floor physical therapy themselves to kind of learn more about it. And then also learning from them about there is a lot to be done at the community level to help the women in our community. We have a large Medicaid population. We have a large number of young women, young birthing persons here with a lack of access to care. And even just, knowing the statistics nationwide that, 40% of individuals aren't attending their postpartum visits. And that's for a variety of reasons. And so what can we do to not only equip them, not just for birth, but for that postpartum experience, because we're not able to get to them on day 1 or day 7, or, sometimes ever, and they're not even following up with their care provider. So, how can we be on the proactive side of getting this information to the people who need it? And so working with the doula groups in our community who work specifically with underserved and marginalized women in New Orleans has been the first step.
So part of this first step, Jay, I'd like you to talk a little bit about what's happening in your neck of the woods and how you're partnering with Emory University in that regard. So could you speak to that just for a minute?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm in the Atlanta metro area. I'm also a birth doula, so I have the good fortune of knowing a lot of people within the birth community, and have already been working with doulas, educating doulas, more doulas and other birth professionals about what we do, how we can help as pelvic PTs, and then how we partner together. Because if there are women that truly don't have the physical access to us, then what other things can be done? What do they need to look for, and things of that sort. But as we start looking at these things, and we start embarking on this project, we really want to make sure that we have the numbers and that we have the data to kind of support what we're doing, because our goal is not just long-term for it to stay within our immediate areas, but our goal is long-term to have a broader reach within the wider communities, throughout the country. And then wherever else this may be applicable, this model may be applicable, so that women can get access to care, so that other professionals feel supported. And so we've partnered with Emory, specifically one of their students in the Masters of Public Health program, who will be working on helping us collaborate and kind of figure out different data points, look at the objective data, and kind of get this research, because in essence, that's what it is as well. It's not just a passion project, but we're kind of really working on this research so that we can, put that forth to the community afterwards and say, hey, here's what we've done. Here's what it looked like. Here's what else we can do with it. So we're partnering with them just to kind of bring more things to light, get the numbers out there, and really just kind of see how we can push within the wider community.
Yeah, I think this is so exciting, because we're kind of taking passions from 2 different, regions of the South, and a student who actually I met Bridget because she approached me after giving a presentation on global engagement at the combined sections meeting for the APTA. And just saying, come back when you've got a little bit more school under your belt, and we'll see what we can do to help you with the project. And we're lifting the girl up, we're really helping her to really kind of take her passion and drive it to another level. And it doesn't always work, but this time it feels right. I mean, I'm talking about it, I'm getting goosebumps again. And usually when I get goosebumps, I just get, like we're heading in the right direction. I don't know. Do you call it goosebumps or you call it goosies?
Well, I used to call them goosebumps, but I watch World of Dance, and Jennifer Lopez is on there and she calls them goosies. So now we call them goosies.
Yeah, so if you're doing projects that give you the goosies, that has to be like a really good project in my mind anyway. So do you guys have anything else you wanted to share, kind of like your vision for where you want to take this this is like a first phase, if I understand. So it's a first phase and potentially a multi-phase project that you're interested in developing.
Yeah. I can touch on the first phase, and then Jay, if you want to kind of think about where, like, share what our goals are. So, what we're doing now is we're working locally with, the reason we chose doula groups to work with is doulas are, birth support individuals who are helping, pregnant persons during pregnancy and also during the actual labor and delivery. And so we don't always have access to be able to be in the delivery room with the patients. And also, these are very trusted individuals by the client. They have a really connected relationship with the doula. So our goal right now is to train the trainer. So train or educate doulas, inform them about kind of what we know in pelvic floor physical therapy that can be helpful in different positions for mobility of the pelvis, for pushing practices, breathing practices for childbirth, and then even some initial postpartum education, and really things that we do every day in our physical therapy clinics in pelvic floor. But a lot of people just don't even know, what it is that we do. And so being able to train a group of individuals who are working with birthing persons allows us to kind of have a farther reach versus working one-on-one with a client. And again, they're working with communities that we want to be able to lift up and support. And I think Jay's point earlier was a really important one, that just surviving childbirth isn't necessarily the goal. It's also that there are a lot of comorbidities like pelvic organ prolapse, urinary leakage, sexual pain, constipative dysfunction. So a lot of things that, individuals can struggle with postpartum that don't necessarily get addressed. And so if we can kind of get on the front side of those to even potentially prevent some of them is the goal. So that's phase one.
Yeah. Well, then beyond that, our goal is to really take it outside of our immediate communities, because, we know that even within our particular cities, there are a lot of people here. There are a lot of birthing moms here every year. But what about the other communities? And we want to be able to not only take it outside to other cities, but we want to start collaborating then with other therapists, other birth professionals, and see what we can do in terms of getting a broader reach so that more people have access to this. We look at countries like France, for example, that already has a standard in place that women who have given birth, they immediately have postpartum pelvic care. That's certainly not a standard here. It should be, but it's not a standard as yet. And we're hoping that, the work that we're doing, the data that we can produce, the anecdotal information that's coming then from these clients as well, that everything together can be enough to say, you know what, this works. This is what we need. This is what we need to move the needle forward. This is what we need to decrease cesarean rates, unnecessary cesareans. This is what we need, to improve the comorbidities that we're seeing after birth, to stop a lot of these things that could be preventable. When we look at things such as basic positioning in childbirth, when we look at things as breathing technique, when we look at the fact that, birthing on your back is not necessary, and we start looking at all the evidence surrounding birth, then we can hopefully improve the outcomes and make it better for birthing moms within our country.
Yeah, that would be a wonderful thing, that if we could somehow push the envelope on explaining the reason why PTs can bring something to the table to improve the ability for moms to move better as they go on the next phase of their life, after that after birth phase, where they really need to improve. We could improve their capacity for taking care of themselves, taking care of their families. I just think that this is like a wonderful perspective on preventative care, so to speak. So I want to turn the questions around now to our moderator, because Lindsay is currently a student at Washington University in St. Louis. And so, Lindsay, where do you see the PT component? Like, what questions do you have for these experts in this area?
Oh, good question. I guess, like, what is the plan to reach individuals? Like, you talked a lot about training doulas, but like, how do you then guarantee that people are reaching the training that you're doing?
So the first thing is that, we're working specifically with doula groups who, to start with, that are working with underserved and marginalized women or birthing persons, so that the work that we're doing is going to the groups that are working with those communities firsthand. And then giving, our plan is to give a quarterly seminar, workshop, training. Everything is virtual right now, in our respective communities, one in Atlanta, one in New Orleans. And again, if we're doing this virtually, we're able to even reach groups that are just outside of our cities. But to start there and just to start kind of, unveiling what it is that we feel like could benefit the birth experience and empower more individuals to have better birth outcomes and, better childbirth experiences. The second piece is, we want to start doing workshops individually with these birthing persons. So whether they are, do something if they are, at a certain, maybe they're at the Covenant House or they're at a Bridge House or, another type of organization or community space where we can go work directly with the individuals. And then the last phase that we want to implement is to offer one-on-one care. So as much as we can do in a group setting, it's wonderful, but it really is kind of the tip of the iceberg. And so moving towards offering pro bono and sliding scale services so that Jay and I are both private pay clinics. And so we are both, offering this already. And we want to be able to target the individuals who we feel would most benefit from it and don't have access to outside care to get those pro bono and sliding scale services.
Wow, so exciting. Love your vision. We're starting at the beginning, and we'll kind of get to see where it grows. Do you guys have any other, parting conversation pieces you kind of want to put out there for people just so that they can hear your good words?
I think for those who are not familiar with pelvic PT, it is it's even, whether they are just the everyday individual or whether they're healthcare professionals, because there are a lot of healthcare professionals that they too don't know what we do and how we can help in this area. But I challenge you to start even reaching out to pelvic PTs in your area, find a pelvic PT and kind of really start learning more about what they do. This work is really, really important. And this work, we work not only with the pregnant and postpartum communities, but, individuals who are dealing with bowel dysfunction, bladder dysfunction, pelvic pain, a plethora of conditions that might cause any type of, genital pain or anything of that sort. And oftentimes the thing that we hear from people is, I did not even know that this existed. I did not even know that there was help. So we've got people in our communities that are dealing with issues that are completely and totally treatable. They don't need a surgery for it. They don't need, medications for it. It is completely treatable with this particular type of conservative method of care. And I really, really think that just even helping to get more of the word out on that, we talk about the opioid crisis, we talk about all these different things. This is a really amazing way to start addressing all these things in our greater community. Right. And we're working specifically with pregnant and postpartum women, but think of even the greater community and how this stuff can then impact. So I think it's really important work, because when we look at, again, Sarah talked a little bit about the comorbidities. When we look at the things that moms deal with, not just immediately, but years down the road when they're still complaining of symptoms, the kids are getting in high school or they're in college and they're still complaining of pains and aches and different things like that. For things that could have been easily addressed. We want to be able to make an impact. We want to be able to help women. We want to be able to help people to live the life that they want to, enjoy the life, enjoy a good quality of life. So this is truly a passion project, and we really, really hope that we can get to share that even beyond our immediate communities with many more groups and individuals throughout the country.
Ooh, Sarah, that's a little hard to follow. Do you got anything to add? I'm like feeling it. I'm like, I can feel it.
Well, and just, I think, again, just to kind of note, like, we want to target specifically marginalized and underserved communities, not, the general population, but again, really working towards those who have a bigger challenge to lack of access. And so, again, I think that it's been personally rewarding for me to feel like, all right, I'm starting to make moves to help this situation versus just reading statistics and reading all of these things and feeling like, what do we do? And, a dear friend of mine here in Iran, she was like, you just have to start somewhere. And I feel like that's what we're doing, is we're starting somewhere. We're trying to carve this path, collect data along the way, because that matters, and partner with an organization like GWHI, which is, aligned with that mission and has, the same passion and drive to be able to do this work domestically.
Mhm.
So I guess I'd like to end on just doing a plea to those who are listening to please consider donating. These ladies have a wonderful passion, and it's for a really good cause. So if you could help us help them, GWHI would, just really love to keep funding the multiple phases for their vision. We've got them up and started, and we're excited, but we need your help. So please donate. That would be so helpful for this end of the year campaign that we're doing now. So go to the website, gwhi.org, and click the donate button, and any little bit would be helpful. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And I think too, just to kind of wrap things up, what I love about this, especially as a PT student, is it's very, very inspiring to see two very passionate women kind of not only take on this project to run their own clinics, but to find a way to give back to people that may not otherwise have access to physical therapy services, to pelvic health services. And kind of like Jay had mentioned, this is something I think all of us hear on a daily basis when we're working in pelvic health, is that I didn't know this exists, and why didn't someone tell me about this earlier? So it's phenomenal to see a project like this come into play and be sponsored and taken on by Global Women's Health Initiative, so that we can continue to make an effort. And if you've seen from past projects by GWHI, it's never been about just treating an individual. It's about training the trainer and making sure that our impact is exponential, that it's not just reaching one person, but it's reaching entire communities. So what Tracy said, please consider donating to GWHI in our end of the year campaign. What Sara and Jay have in mind for the next year is going to make a phenomenal impact on local communities. And so we would love to see them continue to succeed and help as many communities and people as possible.
Right. And we believe global is local. What we learned about engaging globally, we're trying to apply here in the United States. And what we learned from the people here locally, we're going to apply it when we go back to global, when we're allowed to go. So thank you both very much. It's like
Thank you.
heartfelt passion, goosebumps, whatever you want to call them. It's great.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. If you are interested in donating, again, you can go to www.gwhi.org/donate to make any contribution. Anything is helpful at this point. So thanks again, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Mhm.